So while everyone else is doing reviews for the Borderlands movie this week, which is only above 0% because Grace Randolph gave it a semi positive review, I decided to be an idiot and review one of the first, and it will be the first, of many millions and millions of public domain shitty Mickey Mouse horror films that almost got in trouble for calling itself The Mickey Mouse Trap. You might know this film because it was in my last video, because they called it The Mousetrap, but the trailer still called it The Mickey Mouse Trap. It's shit. It's bad. It might actually be the worst horror film I've watched this year. The worst thing I've seen this year. I don't I don't know what to say about it. I don't. Like, usually I can make something funny. Like, I look back at Festival of the Living Dead. It was bad, but I look back at it now and I'm just shocked that I said it was bad, because I look at this film and there's no story here. It's like they had a film and then they realized we could use Mickey Mouse now. And then they decided to go with that. Like, I don't know how to explain this. It is so boring. Like, it's hard. It's so hard to explain why it's bad. Like, it's easy to explain how parts of it are bad, but it's hard to explain why the story is bad. I guess the best way to describe it is, it's so generic. It's a generic slasher film, which should be easy to be funny bad. It should be funny bad, but it's not. It's boring bad. And that is the worst type of horror film these days. Because a lot of horror films can be funny bad these days if they're trying to be serious. But if you are just boring bad, you have nothing. As a film, you are nothing. I want to get to the worst part first. The killer themselves. It is just a guy in normal clothes with a rubber Mickey Mouse mask. A black and white Mickey Mouse mask. Later in the film, they say it's a 1928 vintage Mickey Mouse mask. I think that's bullshit, first off, because why would they have, like, this 100-year-old, and it is over almost 100-year-old, at least, Mickey Mouse mask lying around in a fucking generic, like, arcade ball place. Because, like, it's in the place, and this guy's just oh, God. I guess I should restart a little bit, shouldn't I? Essentially, the way it happens is the owner of this arcade place called the Fun Haven, I think it's called. Like I can barely remember. I can't even remember names. Like, I know that the two of these guys are lusting after this girl named Alex, and then this one guy who's on the hockey team wants these other guys to beat up this guy called Marcus for going after Alex, who can't act for, like, a shit. She can't act for shit. Like, no one can act for a fucking shit in this whole movie, I should say. But, he's on the hockey team, and they all wear the same shirt as the killer, because the killer was on the hockey team, but the killer might be possessed by Steamboat Willie. And so what happens is, earlier in the film, the guy spills some gin on an exposed wire, and the mask apparently talks to him, and he's like, "You should do something." And then, boom, killer. That's it. He doesn't get shocked. Like, I've had to rewatch the scene twice. Like I don't even see him get shocked. It's just he opens the door to the case with the mask is, and then killer. That's it. There's not even any fucking setup. Like, that's all the setup we get. There's no him putting on the mask, or a ghost coming out and doing it, or Mickey coming out of the projector or something. There's nothing. This movie has nothing going for it. And on top of nothing, the killer is nothing. The killer does not emote. And if anyone's watched a slasher film before, you know that emotions, like bodily emotions, are important to a killer who talks. For example, you have Ghostface, who you can't see his actual face, but you can hear his voice half the time. He has to emote physically. You have Chucky, who is a puppet. He has to emote physically with his voice as well. But you could still see his face, right? But the body has to emote as well. You have killers who don't show their faces, but they have to emote physically to show off like emotions. The killer emotes vocally, but the body does not show any physical reaction. It's like if I was talking like this, you can hear my voice, but my body does not betray any. It's like if I start doing belly laughs, but my body does not actually show any sort of reaction to that laughter. Like, that would make no damn sense. It's ADR, I get that. But the person playing the killer does not show reaction. There's two factors here you need to realize, and one of those factors is not being factored into the actual reaction. It doesn't help the whole movie's essentially spoiled as you go along, because the only survivor in the movie is this goth girl, who I've already forgotten the name of as well. I watched the movie 2 nights ago, and I just got to reviewing it, I'm sorry. And she's being interviewed by these two detectives, who say, you're the only survivor. Okay, movie's over. You've already spoiled that everyone's dead. Then why are we even here? Filmmaking 101, you can make this work if you don't spoil anything. I've seen movies work like this before, where they don't spoil every little thing that happens. But when you do it like this, it fucking sucks. And I know why this movie exists. It's only out there to get through the Mickey Mouse public domain copyright bullshit, but they had to change the name because they were going to get sued by Disney lawyers. So unless they can get away with it, no one's going to watch this. Like, they had to change the Alice in Wonderland movie to the Ouija house, and I'm going to have to watch that next week now because my life is freaking nightmares. I'm supposed to see Alien Romulus next week, so I'm going to have to choose between that or the Ouija house. So, I know you know what I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose the one the algorithm is going to make me suffer through. Oh, God. What about the kills? The kills are pointless. So, I mentioned earlier how this one guy wants to rough up this other guy who likes the Alex girl. So, he wants his friends to do it. So, Mickey somehow ends up in the bar next door to the Fun Haven, whatever the fuck they called it. And so what happens is, he just beats them up. I don't even know if he kills them, honestly, until it's explained, yeah, he killed them by apparently just beating him up with a hockey stick. Like, the scene itself does not show that he killed them. Like, one, maybe, but not the rest of them. Which is so weird after a while. Like, a lot of these deaths don't work. At all. Like, one scene, he's just taunting this girl who's in a VR headset, and then later just slits her throat. That's it. It's like, the kills are unimaginative for a slasher film. It's all just the same random stabs or throat slashes. Like, nothing is interesting in this film. It's, like I said earlier, it's boring. In a year where we're getting better slasher films, and we're supposed to be getting Terrifier 3 later this year, this film is relying heavily on the public domain appeal of Mickey Mouse, of Steamboat Willie. But keep in mind, they can't even market that properly except for the image. So there's not really much you can actually say. The movie is really just having to live off of Mickey. And even then, they can't use that unless they want to get sued by Disney. They can't say Mickey Mouse. They have to say Steamboat Willie. And even then, they can't put that in the title. They chose the Mickey Mousetrap. They then had to shorten that to the Mousetrap. And then, like, they tease a sequel where it looks like the goth girl I mentioned earlier, she's in on it, apparently. She's smiling at the end. It's like, We have so much more fun to have. He's laughing like a fucking clown. And that made me realize I don't think that this was planned. I think that the horror movie itself was supposed to be some generic clown or generic hockey player, like the generic Pennywise or the generic Jason. And then, they realized Mickey was going to be public domain, so they decided to just switch it up with Mickey or with Mickey Mouse. I'm stuttering again. I'm sorry. And I just realized this is not fucking fun. Like, I am sitting through this piece of shit. I am almost fucking done with it. I have spent, 3 hours watching it. It's barely 80 minutes long. You take the credits out, it's 75 minutes. This is not a fun film to sit through. This is, people are saying the Borderlands movie is bad. I am probably going to review that later this month if I can find a bootleg. I am not wanting to sit through The Mousetrap again. I deleted it already off my hard drive by now. This is not a fun movie you can sit through with friends. I got high before I watched this fucking thing. And, the funniest moment I had was when, the guy who's lusting after Alex and wants to beat up the Marcus guy, he revealed he was Canadian, with his accent. And that was the best laugh I had throughout the whole fucking film. Other than that, this movie was just painful to sit through. One of the more painful things I've sat through this year. Festival of the Living Dead is bad. It's bad. I won't say it's great, but it was enjoyably bad. I compared it to the Fire Festival I called it the Fire Festival of zombie films. Because it is an enjoyable bad. I look back at that now, and I think that's the best movie I've seen so far and reviewed that came out this year. I am going to be going to bed and having nightmares about this film. Praying to God something worse doesn't come out this year. My brother's probably going to hear me screaming at night from now on. He's going to have to comfort me, saying, "No, David, nothing worse than fucking The Mousetrap is going to come out now." I hate this fucking film. I hate it so much. I don't even think I've talked about it as much, because there's nothing to talk about. Nothing. The ending is just a fucking fuck you. It's he could teleport and he cut the girl's head off, the main character's head off. Lol, lol, lol. The end. Fuck this movie. If you like the video, you know the drill. Like, subscribe. If you don't like it, dislike the video. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Next week it's my birthday. And if it's not your birthday, happy unbirthday. I love all of you. Thank you for supporting this channel. Let's see if we can get those last few subs to get us to 50. I love all of you.